The live stream. Sorry, I'm starting a little bit further down the trail today. It is warm. It is about 94 degrees, and I seriously debated doing this one, mostly because I'm having to concentrate a lot. I'm propelling myself forward. Now, I was reading. I was listening to "The Heat Will Kill You First" by James something or other. Give me a moment. Well, unfortunately, see if I can do it by pulling down my other screen. Because I want to cite the source if I'm talking about a book. Oh, great. I was listening to "Heat Will Kill You First." I'm currently at chapter 5, heat sinks. I want to say it's James Davis, John Davis, something like that. It's a scientist who studies the heat. And it more explains how and why I feel the way I feel, and why I really need to invest in one of them little smartwatch thingies, or even more better, if I can get one for cheaper, a tiny thermometer. Because the thing you want to watch, especially in this kind of humid heat Georgia's got, is you want to watch out for, sorry y'all, the heat zaps. The way that the heat will actually kill you faster in the cold is through hyperthermia. You heard me right, not hypo, hyper. And basically, your body has a set temp, around 98, 99 if you're a healthy adult person. Now, if you exceed that temperature, you'll be fine for 98, 99, 100, 101, all the way up to like 103, you'll be all right. But at 104, something odd starts to happen. Your blood will begin to desalinate, I believe. No, not desalinate, that's the salt gets removed. It'll begin to basically come apart. And as your body slowly begins to break down, you'll find it harder and harder to move about. Thoughts will be harder to get to, and you'll eventually just find yourself in a state of heat-induced distress where you are desperately trying to get out, and you could be very delirious and be running further in. Hello, viewer. David, is that you? But I'm not experiencing that yet. I'm experiencing probably one of the first stages, which is just 94 degrees. It's hot, and I have... Hello, what the content? How are you doing today? And I have had no chance to rest since the first live stream when I went into work. Haven't even sat down yet. I changed shirts at work just so I could do the long off shots and not have to worry about getting a logo in the shot. And honestly, unfortunately, with the way they designed this city, it's quite impossible to get cooled off significantly. I'm going with the slightly safer route and cutting through this wood thicket to get over to my destination, mostly because I'm tired of turning out around 2 ounces of not native seed out of my socks every time I get home. For that I mean that it's sticking to it. Oh, thank you. Absolutely not. I don't like fascism in any form. And when my grandfather passed, I took care of him. Give me a moment. This is why I'm pausing. But when my grandfather passed, I took care of him. And he went through the end stages of dementia and Alzheimer's. And I can tell you right now, our president's sundowning. Okay, we're going to have to double back and unfortunately march through the tall grass anyway, because that is thorny and covered in poison ivy. Oh well, what's a few more steps, right? See, the trick to surviving in heat like this is you move slow, you move steady. I'm trying not to talk with my hands, even though I'm real bad at not doing that. But you move slow and steady and stay as hydrated as you possibly can. I went with Powerade Melon this time. Yum, yum. I'll be honest with y'all, once it heats up, they all taste the same. And unfortunately, it will probably heat up before we get to the end. But it'll be wet, and that's what I need. I kind of went through the local park near where I work, so y'all ain't gonna get to see me spread any of the fun stuff that I took from work that was leftovers and scrap bits. But I saw at least 2 crappy carps, whatever they are, feeding off the biscuit in their creek. And I saw a family of turtles moving in towards the lettuce heads I'd thrown down. Anything the turtles don't eat, and the fish don't go after, of course, will slowly go down the lazy river stream, wind up possibly on the shore bed, and that'll be good for the shore. The reason I use the riverway for the distribution method of my tomato cuttings and bits of edible seeds is, one, it's a gamble, but I also found a neat trick that works for the chicken tendons and fat. And that one I'm kind of proud of because, again, I'm just a dumbass cook. So anytime I think of something like clever, I get real full of myself for about an hour or two until someone that's actually good at engineering or, you know, good science comes in and makes me feel dumb again. But my plan, and it worked like a charm. I would do the prep work and the cooking at one of the local eateries here. And as I go through the chicken, I basically have the job of taking the breast, putting it on the cutting board, cutting the tendon along the side, cutting the tendon along the other side, putting an incision down the middle, and then splaying it open. That way it makes a good large chicken breast. It's how you get the chicken breast for your chicken sandwich. And I mean, it's a simple cut. Every restaurant uses it. From Zaxby's to Martin's to Taco, well, I would say Taco Hell, but Taco Bell don't actually cook anything. Everything there comes in a sack. Like haggis, but worse. But I digress. If you go to like El Nepal for the chicken con creme, or any of the other restaurants, it's this style of cut. So I process hundreds, sometimes thousands of pieces of chicken a day. And I typically, as I'm doing it, I'll take a cup or something that is made of paper and not very waxy coated, but is like super thick paper. And I will, give me a minute. And I have things in the fridge for the groundhogs at the moment. I will look down at the screen in just a moment, y'all. If y'all want to type, go ahead. But as you can see from where I'm walking at, it kind of behooves me to watch my feet right now. Also, this is how my footwork stays good because, yeah, basically living in Georgia, you'll turn into a mountain goat. The trick is just not getting buffed by the wind or losing your footing. Because the creative amongst you can probably guess what's going to happen if my left foot slips even just a little bit. The word splat comes to mind. So we're very careful and we're very cautious and we are watching the shit out of where we step and we're watching the vehicles as much as we can, trusting, hey, and the ground's giving way, trusting as much as we can our good neighbors. Also, this beautiful plant growing here is sagebrush. This is the type of stuff that you'd really like to see growing and not sprayed by pesticides. Because when it's not sprayed by pesticides, if you check the link on the community tab, there is a short video of a gentleman in Alabama who managed to find some of it in bloom when it's not been sprayed by pesticides. It is indeed quite lovely. No, I'm seeing that they put a hole up here directly in front of my bridge. Time for some hardcore parkour, y'all. Give me a minute. Like I said, I will check chat. I do not mean to be a rude host, but y'all, if I die, what good's the show, right? YouTube will cut it. Let's shake hands with our rebar friend. Our friend that's always here. Just waiting to catch some poor sod off guard. Also, I don't know what it is, but I threw some seeds down and that one's new, so maybe I did that. I've always been in the hunt for weed dough. I've always been hoping one of the potheads would throw out their stash and it pay off for me. So far, no takers in the last. Ooh, that is why they marked it off, I see. Okay, now, let me just get down this little hill, and I will see what my good chatters have been up to. There's 3 of y'all. Welcome, 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 all 3. Now, what the context? I live in Georgia. I have been to Indiana, and it is a lovely place, honestly. Indiana and Illinois are 2 of my favorites outside of the South, just because y'all do have some beautiful natural forests there. And in the case of, I believe it was Illinois, but it might have been Indiana, one of y'all have some really cool swamps. But I think Indiana had the really big bridge. Y'all, I promise you I am normally smarter than this. But unfortunately, it's like 92 degrees, and I'm starting to feel the effects of it. But we will keep upbeat, we will stay logical, and we will keep our cognitivity high. Now, oh, India. Oh, no, absolutely not. Sorry. I don't mean to sound racist, just I don't want to die. Y'all, I love the culture. I love the not vassals, the Vedas. I love the artwork from the Vedas. I love the statue work. The temples are beyond beautiful. I don't have words in this heat for the particular loveliness of them. Not to mention all the unique styles of temples that polytheism will give you, as far as the temple for the monkey god, the temple for the I'm sorry, y'all. But either way, I would love to see India someday, but I don't think y'all have anything that I would equate to a winter. So I will see you through the beauty of camera and picture and wish you well. Because no, I don't want to die. And I've heard how hot India can get. I don't need to go. I thought you said Indiana. I'm sorry. Let's see. Unfortunately, none of the lettuce I would want to feed to the groundhogs. I barely wanted to feed it to the fish. Fun shit from work, but I don't know how much I can share because it's one of those, I think the maintenance man's getting suspicious of me. He saw my hat and he did a double take. And don't get me wrong, I realize my hat is fucking fabulous. I realize that. It has turned a few heads. But at the same time, no, he had that look of recognition and he grinned a little, and I'm like, is this a Fight Club moment where you're like, yeah, you're Tyler Durden, or is this like, oh, got your ass, now I'm gonna get you fired? I don't know. I'm hoping he's a viewer and he likes me. I like you, maintenance dude. You're really cool. You look kind of like Jason Voorhees. I guess it's because it's summertime and you go for peak efficiency, so you shave your head for the summer. But still. Now, like I said, Okay, without too much detail, one of our doors on one of our big walk-in machines that keeps the stuff cold, the freezer, the walk-in freezer, I didn't get all the cute little deets on it, but I saw it happening over time, and that bottom hinge finally went to the path at the end of the clearing. And yeah, I didn't realize how heavy that door was, y'all. I also didn't realize how strong I had gotten. Because yeah, I admittedly had to put some ass on it to move it, but I could move it and other people couldn't. Either way, maintenance dude came out, had to basically do a hinky-doo hinge. For the record, I don't really know what hinky-doo is. I think I'm having heat stroke. But he had to do a built hinge because there wasn't the hinge space to actually put a hinge on there, because when it ripped out, it took a piece of the wall. So we went down to the local hardware store, got a piece, and for most of the morning, I was trying my damnedest to listen to this book, The Heat Will Kill You First. But as it's like, and then as the couple walked through the day, fucking 45 minutes of it was hell, y'all. I know y'all wanted to experience that with me, so I'll let you experience it. Picture that frustrating ass noise, but for about 45 minutes. And this dude just, when he got in there, I saw it, man. We had a moment, and I don't think he realized it. Because I see this grown man in his one piece walk in there, like knowing that he's got some fucky shit to see. But then he looks at the hinge and the literal bite of a wall missing, and just his shoulders slump, and it's like I could hear his thoughts, y'all. What do they expect me to do with this? And he did for a good minute. He was just sitting there staring at that fucking door, just, Because I know his first thought, oh, the hinge went out. That's no problem. Because he had a little hinge sitting right there by the door. He thought he was going to slap that problem together real quick. No, y'all, it was rough on the poor fella. Give me just a second, y'all. How y'all doing? We're going to give those good folks their privacy as they drive off. Like I said, y'all, I would have gotten you a good picture of like the good central main of the library yesterday. But this is another, I'm trying to fill this one with happy news because I know they've been downers here lately. So on more of the good news side, the reason I could not get you a good shot of the library is on a basic bitch middle of the week day, there were so many people I could not get an angle on that room that didn't have people in it. And again, it's more about people's privacy, you know. I never want to be the reason a stalker finds somebody or something. But at the same time, I was just overjoyed to not be able to get a good picture, because it's a very beautiful, like, central area. And I will get a snapshot next time I get a chance. Otherwise, I could just say Google Bartow County Main Library, because I know they got it on the website. Right now, I meant to talk about it yesterday, but forgot. Ever forget? I do it all the time. But, here, watch the road for me, folks. But, the thing about it was, our summer reading program has started. And because America is a very, very silly, illiterate country, it's not just for kids. Please, adults, I welcome you. Participate. The theme of this year's summer reading program is Color Our World. Also, Beat the Heat is another mini theme. Beat the Heat is beach books, biographies on battles from the Arctic, and it's on the lower floor next to the informational desk. If you want, come on, man. If you want to check out Color Your World, that's more on Vincent van Gogh and various other famous artists over time. And if you go to the opposite side of the lower floor where the informational desk is, you will find a variety, give me just a moment. You will find a variety of books on both non-American as well as American artists, some even from the South. So I would highly recommend, if you're in the Bartow area and you happen to have a library card, please come and visit the library. They need your patronage. Just visiting would be enough because they can get you on camera, they can get your name or whatever. And that shows the government, as vicious as they're being with the budget right now, that yes, indeed, the library is still very much used. And because I am a cynic at heart, I will say, for your benefit, if you want to go there, they have a host of DVDs and Blu-rays that you may be interested in, including the latest of The Walking Dead, as well as several that I was interested in, but again, I don't go there enough. If you get a new release, it'll be due back in 7 days. If you get a later release, I believe it's 2 weeks, but I'm not positive on that one. Definitely check with your local librarian. They're there to help, and they're happy to help. Okay. Ow. Ow. Yeah. And yes. David says, Ganesh, mover of obstacles. And maybe he thought, how did this skinny kid damage the door? Hey, go Speed Racer. Yeah. Whew. See, I also, and like I said, this is part of it, y'all. When I say to do the beneficial vandalism and like spread the, like when I threw the chunks of tomato plants down here, let me show you some. I have not been back to do it again yet. Give me a second. Camera's being funny. There we go. I haven't done it again yet because of that. Oh yeah, we're doing great today, ain't we, camera? I don't know if you can see it. That is the container. I'm not climbing down there to get it because I don't want to try to climb back up. But I'm also not going to pile more on until I see that completely decomposed. That also gives me a good timeline. That's what I did that was clever. Okay. That was the first container I first tried to use. There are types of small cups. The next one I tried was a slightly larger cup because it's actually like a cardboard paper around it. And the clever thing I did that seems to work great, I chopped up the tendon in the fat, I put it in the paper container, soaked it in its goo, and then I wrapped it in one of the actual plastic bags from work, but left an air pocket in it and stuck it in our freezer. There it basically froze and I didn't have to put a lid on it. Once it had basically attained a hard viscosity, I went ahead and stuck the next container on top of it. Again, no long-term hard plastic lid. It's just hard paper cups, very light paper bags. That part kind of fucks up on me. I will need a new delivery system because when I threw this basic hunk of meat and paper into the river to feed the fish and so it'd break up as it went downstream, it kind of broke up on the impact. It just sort of hit and then came up, and as it came up, chicken was just floating everywhere and the fish had a field day. There aren't a lot of fish in that river, sadly, so I need to market the amount of meat I throw to what I'm feeding. But there were enough to make it worth it. And I will most definitely continue doing these hobbies. Currently, tomorrow, I'll be bringing more eggshells and the like, and I'll be trying to seed out some more of these wild little patches. But what I'd like to find is other wild plants. You know what I'd really like to find is a website that'll send me like specific seed packs to where I can basically, as I walk, just be throwing it everywhere like it's confetti. So I'd need it to be cheap. Oh, what is this now? Ah, they're doing a private event today. Well, shite, I was gonna walk down the corner and show y'all what the fishing area looks like, but no, it's fair. We marked it and demarcated it. I am gonna go to the other side just because, you know, I'm gonna walk back into the field. But good for them. I'm sure that it's either okay, it just says let's celebrate. I'm guessing it's some kind of graduation thing or the like. Either way, congratulations to them. I'm not going to bother them. I'm just going to slip on the back side of the field and use it as a safer means to travel. But yeah, y'all. Actually, as long as we're here and we got a second, let me sit you there, stare at my pretty grass and bug-eating legs while I get out the ecology book, because I promised y'all a reading, and by cracky, you're gonna get one. That is the book we're reading from. Let's see if I can let's see if I can stand back up straight, without going to the shadow realm. Woo! Yeah, woo-hoo. Lightheadedness. Okay. I did not go to the shadow realm that time. The last time when I leaned over my workstation to clean the underside of it, I stood back up real quick and yeah, I went all the way to space for a hot minute. Yeah, I hope they enjoyed some of the chicken tenders too. Like I said, I still have plenty of fried for the kids, but I tried that before and I hate throwing fried food in the river Because one, I see the sheen of cooking oil, and yeah, I know little fish will still eat the cooking oil and whatnot. As the ecology book says, everything eats everything eventually. I mean, even the things like plastic that we thought, oh, nothing will ever eat it, it'll be here forever. Well, now there's a bacteria that's slowly adapting just to that, eating plastic. Now, will it solve our problem? Now, woohoo, we can just litter everywhere? No. It's not like that, and nature ain't like that. But give it enough time and nature will always heal itself. It's how nature be. But this book is Ecology, a Pocket Guide, revised and expanded, the 10th anniversary edition by Ernest Kallenbach. And I do believe, because it is a educational book, I can share with y'all just straight out of it. So, we'll start with the opening. Laws of ecology. All things are interconnected. Everything goes somewhere. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And the one that I think sounds a bit more like a threat than an actual quote is, nature bats last. Again, meaning much like, oh good, I can make a direct reference to comics here. Much like Black Panther's armor, or the new Captain America's wings, nature will absorb whatever we do to her, and then she's going to hit us back. And boy howdy, are she hitting us back right now. It's 92 degrees out here, and you can feel every bit of it. I do hope the people over there are enjoying themselves next to the river. I will personally hope that it's cooler next to the river, though unfortunately, as recent events have shown, not always the case. Who remembers last year, around this time or a little bit after this time, when the ocean warmed up? And the oceans around Florida were like a warm bath for like 3-4 days. Disturbing things, y'all. Disturbing stuff. But lots of content. The book is made to basically be picked up and put down as you need it, so you can wander about, and as you feel philosophical, read it. And it's a reader-friendly book. That's what that bit was about. Now, ecology. Planetary to microscopic scales. The planetary scale, the farthest back ecology goes. Life exists as a thin skin around Earth, the biosphere. I'm going to insert my little knowledge here, sort of like the skin on an orange or an apple or a pear. Just a very thin layer of actual life. Where air meets water and soil through feedback systems, living beings, predominantly microbial, my bad y'all, tiny writing, no glasses. Predominantly microbial, maintain for themselves a suitable global temperature range, an atmosphere that transmits essential carbon, nitrogen, and water, and other critical conditions. Basically, it's a living system that's all tied together. The next scale down, much like you're dialing in a map from planet to the next. Bioregional scale. Within the bioregions, mountain boundaries live characteristic plants, animals, birds, insects, fish, and other inhabitants adapted to the region's climate, landforms, and soils. Then we have the next scale. If you tune it in just a little bit further, ecosystem scale. Parachuting into an ecosystem such as a forest, you would enter a vast interconnected web of species, exchanging nutrients and recycling wastes. Ecosystems provide habitats to innumerable beings, whom we can observe, as well as many microscopic and subsurface ones, which quite obviously we can't observe with the naked eye. And there's my receipt from the library. You can see how far I got in this book last time I tried to read while walking. And then we have the human scale, the most closest that we're probably going to look. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's have an adventure in reading together. The human scale. Mammals and birds are our most familiar companions on Earth, sharing with us the products of sun-driven photosynthesis. Much smaller than humans, but still recognizable with the naked eye, are such beings as ants and termites, and an incredible variety of beetles. Many of them enlarged in the many of them involved in the decomposition process, whereby formerly living matter becomes humus that nourishes a new round of growth. Huh. Now I'm getting a little hungry. I did eat today though, y'all. While I might not have sat, I had me a sandwich and I had like 3 Dr. Peppers and a bottle of water, so I'm as hydrated as an American can be. Oh, we go one step further, as if the microscope that you should be imagining as we went from planetary to regional to environmental to the human, and now to the last one, microbial scale. In a leaf-borne drop of water above float, give me a second. Oh good, the clouds covering the sun for a second. That's nice. Hello, Latoya, how are you doing today? Let me get it in balance, let it get in focus. Y'all see the pretty picture? Hell yeah, okay. Like I said, reading and walking should be its own extreme sport in this heat, but it is keeping my mind off of it. And while the wind kind of feels like a blow dryer hitting me, it is at least blowing, right? But microbial scale. In a leaf-borne drop of water above float microscopic bacteria, algae, and protists, tiny organisms that are neither plants nor animals nor fungi. Leaf cells, right, which along with certain bacteria are the fundamental productive entities on the planet, evolved from symbiotic associations of separate free-living bacteria. Basically, and I don't have the scientific chops to talk about it in good depth, but basically you can see whole life cycles, and also because of how our brains sympathize with almost everything. But if you watch it, you can actually see whole Game of Thronesian twists and life cycles play out as a piece of bread decomposes. Because that's the thing, y'all, and I want to share this with y'all because how many people pop up in my chat going, oh, you need Jesus. Oh, y'all, not to knock your beliefs, which are lovely, I suppose, but mine, literally in death and life and taking a hot shit, you are doing something that benefits or hurts everything around you. And everything, and I do mean everything, is connected and interconnected. We are not greater, we are not lesser. We are. Now again, that's not to get too big an ego of ourselves there. We have not been very good stewards of this planet, and we need to be doing a better job. That being said, don't get too down on yourself, because even in death, even in everything you do, you benefit. Not to get all fictional again, but you benefit the sense of oneness in the world. I don't think you could see my arm with how close you are. If I don't keep you this close, I'm going to drop my Powerade, and if I drop my drink, I'm going to cry. Mostly because if I have to bend over, I'm going to cry. I might get banished to the shadow realm every time I bend over. All right, we've got an introduction. Just in case for legal matters, I'm going to go ahead and skip on over that. Ecology, a pocket guide. Okay. Mostly after this section, I'll try to get into other things to talk about, maybe some news about the channel or whatnot. Right now, y'all know how rich people's houses make me feel. Y'all know how I feel about this shit. So, air seems so thin. And let me flip you around so you can watch what I'm doing. Also, so you can have a good view of something other than just my neck sweat. Air seems so thin and insubstantial that we cannot intuitively grasp its role as a global circulator of the essential nutrients carbon, nitrogen, and sulfur, as well as that universal medium of life, water. How can something so light, invisible, even odorless, be so critical to life? We know the air holds up birds and airplanes in flight. We can recall the delicious caress of a summer breeze on our skin. They don't know the summers that I know. This is not gentle, nor is it delicious. And that is the word they use. They use delicious. Pause and read if you need to. I don't know if the words are going to come into focus. But yeah, they use fucking delicious. Where were they? I want to go taste some delicious air. Last air I tasted that was delicious was, never mind. Okay, so. Breeze on your skin or the bite of, okay. The breeze on our skin or the bite of sub-zero winter air in our noses. Yet looking across a room, we're conscious of only the people or objects in the room, not of the air that fills it. Indeed, we ordinarily ignore air unless it blows down our house or fills our lungs with smoke or smog. We forget that without air, we couldn't even hear each other since it transmits sound. Take a deep breath and pay close attention to what happens to your body. We say that we take in air as if our wills were in control. But in fact, the diaphragm muscle expands your chest, then air, which surrounds us at the pressure of almost 15 pounds per square inch, rushes in. Deprived of this air, we could live only a few minutes. Astronauts on spacewalks must carry air with them in spacesuits. I feel like that was fairly obvious. Air is one of our fundamental connections to other life on this planet, I'm guessing is how they're going to finish that sentence. But right now, this air be pressing sweat right into my damn eye. There we go. Okay. And it was Earth. I called it right. Let me hop, skip, and jump through their display without damaging any of their plants. Okay. When you took that big breath, your lungs absorbed millions of oxygen molecules from the air. Each one of those molecules was contributed to the air by green plants, algae, or bacteria. Without these living organisms that produce oxygen, your body could not burn its food to provide you with energy. Some microbes live by breathing sulfate or nitrite. Others do not breathe at all. They ferment their food. These are the types of, one second. They didn't. Who didn't? Let's see. Oh. I have somehow lost my place. That's depressing. There we go. Okay, I'm finding it. Others do not breathe at all. They ferment their food. There are several creatures that don't really... Mostly they're colony creatures in the ocean, but there are some animals that don't really have a stomach acid of sorts. Robert Sapolsky explains when he had to do surgery on some of the baboons that he studied, that when you open up their stomachs, before you close them up and take care of them, but when you open up their stomachs to see what they've been eating, it's a weirdly not fruit salad, but garden green salad smell to it. It's not bad as he described it. It's almost appetizing, as weird as that sounds. But when you look at the diet of a baboon, for the most part, again, if it got a hold of like an antelope or some kill, then probably not. Also, if it had been feeding on human not excrement, but waste, as they are apt to do, because believe it or not, white folks that run big ass clubs down there don't really take the time to seal off or protect their giant dumps, where they basically just dig giant pits near the parks, and then they throw their trash and food refuse in there. And then you'll end up with several baboon tribes that'll go, or pods. I don't remember if it's a tribe or a pod, but you'll have several of them that end up there. And actually, it's how we found out something neat about male aggression and the whole alpha male nonsense. Let me go ahead and close the tiny words for a minute because they're starting to swim around on me. But either way, the baboons at this camp, and you can read it in Robert Sapolsky's A Primate's Memoir, which is where he basically, it's encompassing a lot of his works over the years, particularly his work in, I want to say Southern Africa, but I could be mistaken. Check out the book if you like. If you check out the stream from yesterday, I covered a free app you can get from the library, at least our library, that allows you to check out books digitally. That being said, your library might also have a similar program. I highly suggest checking it out. It is really cool. Okay, as it heats up, now I can taste the melon. And it's not really good. See, I don't know if I should be taking it personal or not. Oh, the image didn't focus? Yeah, that figures. But they use the word delicious, trust me, it's weird. Maybe they live near like a nice boardwalk town or something. Because I know that when they like do the town fairs, you can practically taste the funnel cake in the air. Oh, by the way, I got my free ticket to Six Flags from work. I don't know what to do with it now. Admittedly, I kind of want to go if the rides are still free, but I got to get a ride that could take me there. I think I'm going to take it and put it in the chest at home until Halloween time and go during Fright Fest. Maybe try to save some pennies and nickels until then to maybe be able to, make a day of it. Sorry, y'all, that was kind of just meant for David because I was telling him about it, but either way. Whew. The thing about Robert Sapolsky's baboon troop that he goes into a lot of detail with a primate's memoir, and something that was neat and gave him his very Thanos idea of how to deal with our current problem. But here's what happened. He was near one of these big colonizer country clubs, and yeah, he said in the book, look, I'm hypocritical as hell, but if one of the bougie asshole rich people wanted to learn about apes and were willing to give me free food from that stupid country club, yeah, bet I would go enjoy finger sandwiches for a day. Who wouldn't? I've been living off of, and I guess this is a regional thing because I've never seen it even at the world market, but it's spaghetti with tuna and red sauce. Now, I'm used to spaghetti and red sauce, but spaghetti and tuna in a can, they did that on purpose. I don't understand. I don't. But either way, he took the opportunity when he could to exploit the rich assholes and get free food. He also observed, because one of his friends who worked for the rich assholes at the country club, a son of a former freedom fighter, he had Robert help him basically trank and tag several of the large baboon males who had been harassing other patrons. And basically, Robert wasn't very clear on it. I'm guessing they didn't kill the specimens he tagged. But as he put it, they might have been neutered or basically picked up and dropped off far, far away from the country club. But what he started to realize, especially with the terrible outbreak of tuberculosis that happened, was that a pattern had emerged. Basically, the good boys, the apes that would hang out and social groom, watch the little children, more or less help take care of the pod, hunt and gather and shit, they were fine for the most part. The young, brash, wanting to prove themselves and fighting scrap males would go down to the feeding ground where the country club is and fight the other rival males from various other platoons. And all of this is quite normal on the Serengeti. You can see it to this day if you go down there. I don't think you should do tourist culture because it's kind of toxic and we need to fix our own problems before we go making new problems in other parts of the world. But again, if you want to see it, you can. It's there. What was neat about the tuberculosis outbreak, as neat as a tuberculosis outbreak can be, is that the tubercular meat came from cattle that came from lazy farming. And again, the people not caring about who was going to be eating the tuberculate meat because, again, they're just tourists. I'm not justifying their words, but I also, you know, I get it. I've seen them do it. I've seen them do it here in tourist trap locations. Needless to say, if you have the chicken Alfredo in Helen, Georgia, I hope you enjoy the Chef Boyardee, because they may say it's homemade Italian, but I promise you, it's Chef Boyardee. We got us a fire truck, and I do hope they get to their destination safely and quickly. Unfortunately, with the warming happening, let them go by. Unfortunately, with the warming and such happening, and them getting rid of all the native species that help do fire breaks, and nobody doing fire maintenance and fire breaks, yeah, fires happen quite a lot in this heat. It's kind of neat how things can just kind of combust when they get hot enough, huh? Aw, it's okay, David. I appreciate the continued support. And believe it or not, looking back on the feeds, I get usually about 100 views per video. I don't know if they're all hate watchers, because typically it's like 1 or 2 likes. This is your call to action, my fellows. Please, if you don't mind and you have a moment to spare, like the stream if you're enjoying it. Because, yeah, 100 or so viewers, 1 or 2 likes. I realize I repeat myself a lot, but I really would like to, you know, do better. And I think once I build a little studio room in the house or something, set the laptop up, get a background and a script, I'll be doing a lot better. But I was on a tangent about Robert Sapolsky and his apes. Now, if I had taken notes from the book, I could give you their actual names. But 2 of his oldest and 2 of his youngest were known to be scrappers out on the fields. And when the tuberculosis meat got thrown in the dump, they contracted the disease, as did several other rival males and aggressive males. And it was a very tragic scene. If I could paint it better, I would. And eventually when I can, you know, editing is my passion, I'll be able to actually get in there and show you what I mean. But he basically, one of the first apes he studied in Africa, huge at that point when he started studying him, he wasn't but a little bitty fella, but a huge alpha male baboon by the name of either Ezekiel or Jeremiah. I don't remember which, but it was a biblical name. He did it as a, you know, sort of mock you to the religious institutions. But, you know, Robert Sapolsky's a bit of a cut up, and I like him for that. But this ape, as Robert fought desperately to save his life, breaking his rules, by the way, because when he went down to Africa, don't know if you know this, but as an observer of the animals, the hardest thing that they have to do is you watch these animals and you watch these animals and you grow attachment to them, because that's what we do as humans. But your law, your absolute, you can tag them, you can trank them, you can watch them, but you must not interfere with them. And there are several points in a primate's memoir where Robert goes into detail about how he had the perfect shot lined up. He was ready to take him down and get his cortisol levels to find out what's going on, just to realize, oh no, his rival's watching, and he's actually waiting for Robert to take the shot so he can go try to jump the guy while he's down. They have that level of cognition and watching, y'all. It's amazing. But Robert basically watched his first test subject, his first observation, whatever you want to call him. The fellow died in his arms. And Robert didn't allow the pack to basically tear him apart. because he didn't want the tuberculosis to spread any further, he pulled Ezekiel away into the medical tent that he had established for basically doing the whole draining their stomachs, checking cortisol levels, stuff like that. He took him into the medical tent and he dissected him. And that's when he realized, yeah, poor fellow was eaten alive by tuberculosis. And it was spreading like wildfire in them. And apparently that is something that is real in baboons. For some reason, tuberculosis, whereas with a human it'll take months, sometimes even years, for us to die. When it hits a baboon, or it hits a chimp, or it hits even a gorilla. Now, the orangutans somehow do a bit better with it, but when it hits those specific large breeds that are similar to us, it just rips right through them. I mean, I'm talking death within weeks. If that, weeks is prolonged. They'll typically waste and then die. But as Robert saw this, and it was quite hurtful, he then left. He left the camp, he signed off, he left all of his notes with Lawrence of the Hyenas and told him to please give it to the next person that came out to study the troops. Troops is what they're called. Yay, my body temperature must be returning to normal. But he left Africa for about 3 to 4 years, vowing to not return until he absolutely had to. And he collected his doctorate and his couple other things that he had to do while he was back stateside. And then he, lo and behold, man loves the game, I guess. He couldn't let it go. He had to go back and study more. And what he found was astounding. He also wanted to show his new wife I don't know why I said it that way. He's not like a womanizer or nothing, y'all. He's only had the one wife, but they were just wed. So it was his new wife. And they go down there to see the old herd, or the old troop. And as he's examining this, there has been this humongous peace. There aren't really the aggressive males chasing down and doing the TOS violation to the lady baboons. They're not. They've actually, this particular troop has broken the norm and become matriarchal. And in that matriarchal troop, it began to spread amongst the baboon troops in that area. And it was a benefit. Now, as he said in the book, and as I will say now, it is very important to point out, don't go kill your local alpha male. That's not going to help anything. That's just going to land you in a cell. But it's neat how that works, right? Because the myth behind the strong man is we need the strong man to fend off the night. But in fact, when it comes to troops and groups, no one has to be strong. We overwhelm with numbers. Also, we overwhelm, as referenced in, that's a big old thorny bastard. As is referenced in The Heat Will Kill You First, we also excel better than our animal brothers and sisters and cousins because we sweat. And even still today, again, he speaks about Africa mostly when Robert Zapolsky and them worked together, because that's where Robert studies most of his animal troops. He also studied the gorillas in the northern part of Africa as well. But I'm kind of with him. I like the baboons, and honestly, it'd be neat to study something where it's like, I think it would be neat to study superly. I don't know if superly is the word. It'd be fun to study big game in other places. Shoot them with the camera, document their movements, observe them over time, and then eventually, learn cool new stuff. I think that'd be pretty cool. And yes, exactly, the Prime Directive. I think the most broken rule in all of Star Trek. It's also the first one. But nah, I get it. It's just at the same time, it's like how technically I should just be watching what happens out here. But as a part of that megafauna, I want to help. By the way, that's a piece of the sidewalk I made, I think. But, because it goes with that there. But, like I said, We got to make a difference, y'all. And like I said, I don't expect anyone out there to be a hero, because I wouldn't expect you to be in this doomed world. But just do the little things, you know? And just do one little thing a day. It's like calisthenics. Eventually, you'll go from walking a mile to going 8 or 10 in a day, and only crying a little bit when you get home and have to pull your bloody nubs out your boots. Oh, that one was a little too personal, I guess. That one hurt me. But nah, y'all, it'll get better. Because if nothing else, like I said before, it'll get better because that's the only constant in the on the planet. Everything changes. Walking in the shade is a very big difference to walking in the heat. I kind of wish they would open the stupid auto zone so I could at least stop in and get a cold beverage. Also, that one I probably shouldn't share on the internet for everyone to hear. Never mind, David. We'll talk about that when I get to the house. It's nothing big. It's just money ain't the card yet, other than what was there this morning. We can get cat food, but if you need more details, I'll give them to you when we're like, you know, face to face and not with 100 other people possibly watching. For the record, my dear viewers, it's nothing criminal. It's just, there's no need for y'all to know how fucked I am financially. I share what I can with you, but, you know, if I can't give you, like, good news or advice on how to not fuck yourself like I'm fucked, I'm not really going to share it, because it ain't about poor, pitiful me. It's about what we can do as a society and as a group to make things better where we can. Okay, let me try it. I think I remember the song, and they say that singing helps. So I'm sorry, but here we go trying it. Oh, come on, all you workers who toil night and day, by hand and by brain, to earn your pay, who for centuries long past, for no more than your bread, have bled for your countries and counted your dead. Oh, we're the first ones to start, we're the first ones to die, the first ones in line for that high in the sky, and we're always the last when the cream is dished out, for the worker is working when the fat cat's out. Oh, in factories and mills, in shipyards and mines, we've often been told to keep up with the times. When our skills are not needed, they streamline the job, and with slide rule and stopwatch, our pride they have robbed. We're the first ones to stop, we're the first ones to die, the first ones in line for that high in the sky, and we're always the last when the cream is shared round, for the worker is working when the fat cat's about. And when the sky darkens and the prospect is war, who's given a gun and then pushed to the poor and expected to die? The land of our birth, though we've never owned one lousy handful of earth. We're I missed an entire stanza in there because of that fucking repetitive backline to it. Give me a second, I missed one. And all of these things the worker has done, from tilling the fields to carrying the gun. We've been yoked to the plow since time first began, and always expected to carry the can. Oh, we're the first ones to stop. We're the first ones to die. The first ones in line for that pie in the sky. And we're always the last when the cream is shared out. For the worker is working when the that's a sharp one. Fat cat's about, I'm walking through thorns. Woo! Yeah, I got a little jiggy with it at the end thanks to nature helping me out. See, I'm not dying. I can still hurt people's ears. I'm still vicious. And I'm really curious if this is edible plants or bad plants. Well, edible or not, they aren't edible this close to the road. And I'm kind of disappointed because I'm wondering, I mean, I don't know, maybe Georgia doesn't spray, but I'm sure we do. And from that video that I posted in comments, because I genuinely cannot remember his name right now, he's the fellow from Alabama, not Pissed Off Bartender, but he was showing the wild blooming prairie items. The wildflowers that were blooming far away from the road versus the ones that have been sprayed with pesticides. Which again, y'all, I get it. Bugs aren't fun. I like most bugs as long as I'm watching them from afar. But at the same time, I get some people get grossed out by bugs. But they play a key part, y'all. Just like the janitor that picks up after you. It's a rough job, but someone's got to do it. And without those bugs, think of how much rot would be around us. That straight up tastes like I'm biting into a honeydew melon. It's not bad, it's just weird. Because it went from having no flavor when it was cold to now that it heated up and I'm sort of drinking my own body heat level. Again, it's like I'm just 2 miles, we're almost there. And again, imagine how much faster I'm gonna move on the trail when I finally get to do the AT. Imagine how much fun y'all will have if I can buy one of those neat little drone things from Best Buy or whatever the fuck they are. Because I saw them there, I just don't have $400 of fun money, you know? I don't think I ever will. But if I do and I save it up, I'd love to have one. So basically, I just attach a little thing to my hat, and as long as I kept its battery charged for up to 12 hours, it just ride right along with me. And I could basically program it by left, right, up, down. And as long as I didn't say these phrases, well, okay, why am I getting hit by something? One minute I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to complain. This feels nice. Next minute it feels like Aureolus is trying to bully me and take my hat away. It's my bonnet, damn it, not yours. Wind goddess. Greek mythology. I might not be good at it, but I do try to remember. And admittedly, the Iliad is a rocking book. Oh, these are pretty. Let's see if I can get a good shot of this for y'all without walking into traffic and hurting myself. I don't know what it is, but she is rather lovely, isn't she? It's growing straight out the bush from a crooked and thin trunk. That tells me it's probably a parasitic plant that's latching onto the tree line and growing through the tree line for stability. I say parasitic out of ignorance for the record, because for all I know, that particular tree might tie together the other trees as a shrub. Like I said, y'all, I got the ecology book, I'm learning. None of us are geniuses, except for David. He's got a doctorate, he's kind of a genius. He's got the degree to boast about it. But you know what I mean. Everybody's bad at it and everybody's on the path to learn something new. Honestly, with the wind being a constant, and the sun being covered, it's not so bad. But my Lord, when that sun be beating down on you, this 2 miles is rough. Whew. Wow. Oh, David went away for now. Or did I just lose signal? Sorry for the quiet portion, y'all. I'm debating, do I repeat things? Do I have anything new? I guess I could revisit what's the phone doing? I guess about it. I just thought about it. But the national parks, all the news sites said it was morbid. I thought it was just cute. But apparently, America's so sad now. The national park released a statement saying, yes, please hike in groups. Bears like a variety pack when they're snacking. And then they went down the list of actual not tongue-in-cheek things about by the way, while they enjoy a variety, if you happen to choose to hike alone, do definitely carry bear spray with you. Because black bears can be dissuaded typically by a can of pennies or anything that makes loud noises. A grizzly, however, will only take that as a fun toy. Do carry bear spray with you if you travel alone. Like I said, it's the national parks being cute as they can be. And honestly, I say we give the national parks a wide berth considering. Nice. Can we make tea out of it? But like I said, the national parks need to be given a huge wide berth right now, because whether intentionally or not, and I feel like it was intentionally, by greatly reducing their working staff, it's gonna hurt everyone, y'all. But it's especially gonna hurt the wild game, because you just gave open seasons to poachers who are probably descending on the park in droves. We've already had a greatly growing problem of people just straight up littering in our parks. And so, yeah, I feel like, defunding them while putting all that funding towards ICE might not be the best decision for the country, Just my humble opinion. I think it's pretty dumb. Oh. There was something else in the news outside of just the national park, and it giving very real oh yeah, there's another national park soon about to be announced, and it's right in our backyard. I think I talked about this before, but just in case I didn't, they want to name the Etowah Indian Mounds, which is very nice because we have some of the oldest intact mounds that left by the mound builders. And there used to be tons of them in this area, y'all. Like the Monty Python skits with the hills and the round stuff like that. Yeah, we had a bunch of those because way when the native peoples owned this land and they traveled mostly by riverway and the like, we would bury the dead with their families in big mounds. I say we as the royal we there because it was the natives and the original peoples who would do it. And they would bury them and their possessions around them. And then their descendants would go there. And then, basically as the tribes grew and time went on, you would end up with just several of the hundreds of these little mounds dotting the area. And it was good for the environment because the mounds would basically continue to grow food and grow trees and other things like that. And while the native peoples wouldn't eat off of them, they would, it helped give diversity to the landscape and to the wildlife and ecology. The flora and fauna being the plants and animals. But then the colonizers came And much like the Fire Nation from another popular genre, the colonizers came and they wanted the stuff in the mountains. They cracked them open for the fun magical relics. Tossed everything else. In the case of some of the Spanish conquistadors and some of the, real inbred, strong-chinned Europeans, they stole some of our Native American mummies to eat. And yeah, y'all, there's a lot there that I can't really touch on because honestly, I get vomit mad when I start reading about how we treated our native peoples. There's several great books on it, and some of them will surprise you by how angry you get at some of these moments. But at the same time, I highly suggest we should study it because there was also a mandate dropped that no proper park employee is willing to do, but be damned if our sad floppy fascist isn't going to try to push it through anyway. Y'all, there's, for the no DEI president, there are now poll boxes at every national park that basically say, did any of the displays hurt your feelings? Did any of them make you feel guilty for being white? Because if your little whiteness was offended, dear, all you need do is contact this department and they will have him promptly removed. That being said, a bunch of inbred dickless dipshits are currently suing our government because they really wanted to make Stone Mountain into not a racist tourist attraction, but into just a lovely state park. They wanted to sandblast off the racist cunts on it, y'all. As a Georgian, personally, sir, if I may make a suggestion, I would very much appreciate it if you would sandblast off our inbred limp dick Confederate soldiers on there and put up some of them beautiful men that rebelled and have not yet had their beautiful monuments put up. I want to see our black leaders put up there that fought during the Civil War. Because to me, that would be a better education, especially considering, most of us white folk couldn't tell you what the slave was doing. Because, they just sat patiently and watched history unfold before them. Not like there weren't hundreds of slave rebellions for then. Now I'm going to drop that accent before it sticks, because if I'm not careful, that accent will stick to me like fucking stink on a skunk. But yeah, personally, I wouldn't be against it. If you really want to piss off the racist, sandblast off Lee and put up Burning Sherman. Because with him, y'all, honestly, I don't like how friendly General Sherman was. Because when he first came down to Georgia and started cutting through, he was returning property. He was returning slaves. He was telling the fucking soldiers not to shoot at the fucking farmers who had just been shooting at him. He was like a super nice general. It wasn't until 6 months of hard, brutal battle that he finally said, okay, fuck it. They don't want nice. We'll give them hell. And became the General Sherman that is known throughout historical record. The one that burnt a beautiful, glorious sloth across across my great state of Georgia. I like Sherman. Neat. Well, it might not be a good, Well, also, I think that's still growing too close to the road, isn't it? That's still too close to the road to gather safely. I was thinking gather it and, put it on as a spice in the ramen and such. There are also 4 books at the library on how to make proper and good ramen. I almost got them, but I don't have money for accoutrements right now. And if I want to get a book and get accoutrements, I'm going to start going through those Korean cookbooks of yours and making us some delicious banchans and the like. Oh, y'all. The air's getting thick with the wind dying out. But I'm happy for everyone who showed up. I'm happy for everyone who's here. And I hope I'm getting better at this. I'm trying real hard not to, be repetitive to hell, I'm also trying to keep calm because, again, occasionally being angry, yeah, that's funny. Being angry all the time, and well, I joked about it, but I don't want to be the Alex Jones of the left, y'all. Even though I truthfully feel like if I talked about shit the way it is and just no context around it, just how shit is, I'd sound about fucking insane. I mean, y'all, it's... Let's not talk politics right now, y'all. Let's just enjoy our time together and look at this beautiful barren field that smells like sunlight. What does sunlight smell like? I don't know. Maybe burning straw hat is what I'm smelling. Almost set it on fire today, by the way. We were at the end of shift, and about the last 5 minutes, typically I've got my shit shored up. So I go ahead, I grab my shirt for changing. That's why you're getting this lovely cut right now. But I change my shirt, get into my solar punk dress, and then get my hat on. And typically I spend the last 5 minutes just counting minutes, waiting to grab the scrap food that I can take to the wild animals and take to the fish and take to my kids. And then just taking the trash out. I done goofed, y'all. I didn't dump the waste grease. So as I notice it and I'm trying to grab it, I then realize, oh shit, I don't have my company brand hat on. I have my hat on. Speaking of, is my hat straight? I need to readjust that crow skull. But not a real crow skull. It came from Michael's. Also, I'll wait on that one. There's an actual story that made me cry the first 4 times I listened to it all the way through. And I want to give it justice. But to give a prelude until I get a chance to take notes on it so I can give it its proper gravitas. Basically, I want you to put on your Sherlock Holmes earstalker cap and tell me what you would think if you came across in Olympic National Park. There's a family. The husband lies dead, sitting in an Indian-style position with his dead infant daughter in his lap, curled under him as if he was trying to shield her from the sun. Next to them lies the family dog, also dead. Apparently just laid down and died. A murder most foul. The wife and or husband, perhaps. Murder-suicide. No, the text messages that were sent out made it seem like these seasoned hikers and experts went into the park and mysteriously died, not of suicide and not of foul play. I'll tell you more about that story when I can take some notes on it. Because I want to be able to give you proper names and proper backstory to it. Because it might not have been Olympic Park. That might have been part of the story beforehand. If you want to cheat, you dirty cheaters, you can easily check it out by reading The Heat Will Kill You First. It encompasses chapter 2 and 3. But it is a very scary thing to learn about. Because even okay, I'll give you an example. Hypothermia can take anyone. And it can. Hypothermia, when you get so cold you die, that can happen too. But here's the thing about getting so cold you die. And I have walked this path in freezing conditions too. And if I get cold enough, especially if I'm not streaming, as that time I didn't stream, but if I get cold enough, I can secure my bag and ante up one level. If I'm walking, walk at a faster pace, then speed walk, then jog. And if I absolutely have to, if that isn't warming me up, run. But eventually you'll get warm through kinetic motion. because our bodies are heat machines. We burn, and we burn whatever we eat as calories. The problem is when the heat outside gets too bad, we can't cool ourselves outside of sweating. And for years and years and years, much like those permafrosts, we thought that was enough. We would be fine. Unfortunately, we're finding that we have heated up the planet so much that now sweating is not enough most of the time. Now, sometimes it is. Like right now, I'm good because the wind that's cutting through those trees, and those trees specifically there, is cooled down by the shade of the trees. The atoms that are in the air molecules, are slowing down as they go through all the shade and the debris of the trees. That's also why when the heat starts to get super duper bad, if I can find it, that isn't just from last year's fall, but when the heat gets bad enough, like when we go through our heat cycles, give me a second, I know we got some here somewhere. It's not been that bad, but we have gone through at least 2 hot flashes here. Nope, don't want to pick that up. That's a poison plant. Either way, there's one. The leaf will lose its color and just basically drop off and die, which makes the air around it hotter, and it makes the tree waste less energy making more leaves. The trick is, if it's a leaf from fall, that's normal because they're getting ready for winter. But when you're having a fall leaf, these are landing on top of the tall grasses here, that's a sign that it's getting so hot the trees are starting to shed their leaves with a hope to cool themselves as well. And that's what's neat about, like, neat and kind of haunting. But if you were in California, as the author of The Heat Will Kill You First was, or you spoke to someone from that area, I guess he might not have been there himself, but you could hear the trees screaming, y'all. It was getting so hot, the sap was boiling inside of them, causing a popping, which would cause some of the older trees to just explode. A lot of them were fine, and in certain pine barrens, you'd be standing in the barrens and hearing pop, 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 pop. And it would get so much, of course, with so many, as the scientists there, the geometric or geological scientists said, if you put on the right mic, the plant life was screaming as if it was on fire. And then shortly after that, it all caught fire. So, you know. Oh, that's the other one. Y'all, again, I am in no way making fun of or disparaging Texas. It is quite sad what has happened there. That being said, y'all, why is some bullshit political cartoonist getting death threats? Since when did the American right wing become as soft as the extreme, like, right and Islamic cultures over Muhammad? Because I read it, and a comic creator, and again, not like a controversial Watchmen style, no, he's like a Calvin and Hobbes, but not. He does like little political comics for the newspaper. And in some bullshit paper, he dared to basically draw or have a drawing of a Trump supporter in Texas floating on her door, and Trump basically saying, "Oh, I'll never let you go." Like, oh, that's a terrible Trump impression, but I'm better at Musk than Trump. But basically doing the Titanic, Leo, and whatever the fuck the rich bitch's name was in Titanic, they were doing that. And then basically Trump lets them go, and then just the MAGA hat floats up. And it's, regret your decisions yet? And the free speech people are upsetty about that. And I just don't understand people's priorities. Because I'm sorry, you're upset because somebody pointed out the obvious, but you're not upset at the president that defunded FEMA that caused your fictional person to be in that situation? You're wrong at the wrong one, Bubba. Now, yeah, I think it's in bad taste. I think it's a bit crass. I think the rule is 9 years for a tragedy and before it can become comedy, right? I believe the term the youth would say is too soon. But I also don't feel that they should be getting death threats over it, you know? Because again, definitely too soon, bad taste, not funny, but poignant, and honestly, I hate to say it, but a lot of political cartoons are not funny. They're comedians trying to get cheers and applause, not trying to get you to laugh. That's not to say all political comedians, because like I said, there are plenty of good gay country singers and really cool Scottish fellows and really pissed off cool bartenders who can somehow make politics funny. And I applaud them. I don't know why I just popped so loudly. I'm sorry about that. But they can make politics funny, and I applaud them for that. But yeah, y'all, be safe out there above everything else when it comes to the heat. And I think I am just going to make my sign off for now until we get a proper camera. Okay, now I'm going to poke you with my thumb. Because I don't know why YouTube's so bitchy, for lack of a better word. But it really don't like me closing out my live stream. And while I'm never gonna like, okay, now I'm done with them, let me say all the slurs and be a real right-wing jackass. While you're never gonna get my live mic doing that, you might get me like freestyling something that I haven't quite tried yet and going, nah, that ain't gonna play, man. Nah, fuck that. Nah, fuck that. But it's just, you know, I don't want to have a hot mic for no reason, you know? Might be a bit embarrassing. Speaking of which, this embarrassed one of my favorite creators. So I'm going to try to sing it just because I want to show her, dear, you're beautiful, and it's not embarrassing. So let me also get in there like Adam Sandler peeing his pants in, not Big Daddy. I'm sorry, all of Adam Sandler's movies to me are basically Big Daddy, but at different levels. Crap, it was the one where he had to go back to elementary school, but either way. Not Mr. Deeds. Either way, the bit is dead, it took too long. Now, I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. And I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Dun, dun, dun. Need Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon, oh, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend. See, that's not embarrassing. Embrace the cringe. The cringe can't hurt you now. Become the cringe. And see, this is why I'm glad I don't have children to be embarrassed of me. If you want to be embarrassed for me, chat, you can. But I'm living my best life out here, sweating my ass off and having a mild heat stroke. Trying to make the best of it, eh? We're all stuck in this capitalist hell together. Oh yeah, y'all, if you see the rubber duckies, apparently that's a Jeep thing. I'm not knocking it, hell, it's... Y'all, I think we should stop doing random collector culture, but at the same time, I get the idea, you know? It's nice to have baubles and doodads and the like. I just, you know, I think we're a bit more like birds than we're willing to admit. We just collect shiny shit and build boxes to put it all in. Now, for the record, I'm not judging nobody. I also have a box full of shiny shit at the house. My shiny shit's just in video games. Okay. Okay, y'all. We're almost to JoJo's. We just gotta make the hilly jumps. And I'll probably pick up another drink. Maybe not. I don't know. I know we need to go by Dollar General to get things. I just don't remember what things exactly. I know we need a box of baking soda for the cats. For their litter boxes, to be specific. I need to get that today. And I wouldn't mind a cup of coffee since we got like 27 on the POA. Okay. That hill is fun. See you in a few minutes, David. But yeah, I wouldn't mind getting a cup of coffees. Baking soda for the cats. I know I need to pick up cat food. And we might need to pick up a small bag of dog food. But I think the food from the diner will work for a substitute for a day or so, you know. See, that honestly, I don't believe in the whole battle between who is the superior pet. Because honestly, people that tell me they just can't handle cats, to me that's a red flag, y'all. Because cats are basically just humans with an attitude. And they really are. I love them. I love all of our cats, all the rescues, all of our personals, all the ferals. I love all the cats. I love all the cats I haven't met yet. That being said, I have a fuck tons of scratches from all the cats. And here's the thing, y'all, that's the red flag portion of it. If a cat scratches me, I might yell, oh, you little bastard. But you know what? I'm never gonna hit the poor animal. Because it's like, you know, they're people. Now, yeah, you can ask David. You can see me grab both of them by the scruff and hold them like a schoolyard bully if they're fighting with each other. And maybe that's bad on my part, but I've always been taught if you got two little ones fighting, give them a common enemy they need to unite against, and they'll unite. Maybe I'm not doing the best job, y'all, but I'm trying my best. Either way. I love dogs because they're always loyal. Christ, the main thing I got problems with Shifu with is being up under tow at inopportune times. And the fact that when the cats go to fight and I go to stop them, he'll try to run in there and help. And usually make a mess trying his best to help. But I love dogs for the loyalty, for the kindness, for most of the time the unjudgmental love. That being said, Alice argues with me. And one day I'm going to get David to videotape it. Because she'll be growling and nipping and like not nipping at me, Alice, come on. That kind of thing, you know? She talks to me like Scooby-Doo. Not all the time, and every time I turn on a camera, she get real bashful like Nifty. But I love all the pets, y'all. I refuse to engage in pet war. I will say dogs have one superior quality, though. When it comes to the cats and dogs that we got, I have to go get specialty food for the cats because they're obligate carnivores. Whereas my dogs, they're omnivores like us. So if I can eat it within reason, like onion powder, garlic powder, chocolate, and grapes. I still don't understand why no grapes, but something about it they can't process and it turns to a bad chemical in their system. So no grapes for you dogs. But other than that, they can eat biscuits and gravy like a human. I mean, you need to get them real food too, but it feels like you can dodge a cat or a dog's diet. You can dodge a dog's diet for a bit longer than you can a cat's with the obligate carnivoreness. That being said, you bird people are weird. I'm kidding. I love birds too. They just really don't like me. There have been a total, I've tried to deal with maybe 15 different birds. And in that time, maybe 2 birds would tolerate my presence. But it was a very shaky tolerance. It's one of those, they tolerated me so long as I didn't move too much. And as long as I didn't get too near them. Don't know why birds don't like me, but they don't tend to like me. Either way, y'all, we're almost to the JoJo's. I'm almost home. I think I'll pick up beverage and all that at Dollar General. I still got enough Powerade to make it all the way there. Y'all have a good day. I know most of y'all are going to be watching this in the future. If you're watching it from the future, do me a favor. Hit the like and subscribe if you like what you see. I'm getting better. I can't promise it's always going to be improved, but I can promise you a video every day, usually multiples. And like I said, I'm trying to get better about being personable and informative. Either way, y'all be good, and y'all have a wonderful day. We will see you here in a little while for the live stream that's video game based. And if I don't see you there, I'll see you tomorrow for the walk into work. Y'all be good. Now I'm going to put my thumb in your eye again. Hopefully YouTube lets me leave soon. Be good, endure and survive, people. Boop, 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 boop. Come on, YouTube. There we go. Yeah. Oh, it didn't let, did it? Did it let me? Did it do it?